We sent the bishop, Vladika Dimitri, several different names, and he
St. Athanasius was not one of them.
St. Athanasius was
So
not
he
on
gave
the
us the
list
one he wanted.
because he's St. Athanasius. We didn't want
I'm not
to
St.
name the
Athanasius,
church after him. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And he sent back St. Athanasius. We've been a part of St. Athanasius since it was meeting in homes.
When we started, we had 16 adults and 17 children.
We moved from the Powell's house to the Walther house to the Rucker house.
To the Adams house.
To the Adams house. And then we finally got the storefront.
I used to stand sort of in the middle of the storefront, and I would just stage whisper things to JP. I mean, things that I was going to tell JP anyway, but I would say it just loud enough that everyone around me could hear. And I'd say, JP, it's the gospel, stand up. And all of a sudden I'd hear all the other parents behind me going, oh, it's the gospel, stand up, stand up, stand up.
When we moved here, the church had just purchased the land on Crisman Mill Road, which was a lovely piece of property.
Over time, we had planned, we had kind of had a vision to go out there.
We had people that were kind of happy in the storefront. And we had other people, when you asked them what they wanted to build for the temple, they would say Hagia Sophia.
They would show a picture of Hagia Sophia, for instance, and say, well, it's a dome. We use domes in Kentucky, and Hagia Sophia has a dome. Therefore, if we build something that looks just like Hagia Sophia, it'll look Kentucky. Like, no, I'm sorry, guys.
That's not what
Hagia
is meant by
Sophia doesn't look like Kentucky.
This particular property that we have now, my wife and I and our children would walk in the neighborhood all the time.
And we always said this would be a great location. It's right near the main street. It'd be easy for people from Wilmore, from Nicholasville, from Lexington to get to.
We were able to figure out that we do want to be in town and then purchase that land. And that's why we're 20 years into this here.
Father David Rucker, he used to walk this lot and pray for our parish.
This was, a God thing.
We've inherited a parish community that's been very welcome to a lot of us young adults.
I remember the first dance that we went to. We were fairly new. We knew nobody in church except for maybe one or two people, and everybody was just interested to hear our story. And within a couple minutes, somebody gave me their homemade port, and we were drinking wine with the priest, and I thought, wow, this is really odd.
Then we never left.
It was odd enough that we felt like we fitted in.
So full disclosure, we found the church via the Facebook page. There were certain key people that made a point to make really, really deliberate and welcoming impressions on us. So we sat down with people like Dr. Bradshaw for multiple hours at a time, working through different matters of faith.
We always felt like we could come in and say, oh, well, I remember these 5 people, and then it turned into 10 people, and then it turned into almost 100 people that we knew that we could approach and talk to, and that there was no concern about being barred from asking a question or connecting with them in a certain way.
In our parish, there's a greeter at the door. They say hello, they welcome you in, they ask if you have any questions, they help you know where to stand and what to do, and that's not typical of Orthodox churches, but it's something very lovely about our parish.
You think about a small village somewhere, right? They just know each other. And in our community, they have to work to know each other.
I think the way people treat each other in this parish is fantastic. There's a lot of love. and a lot of caring.
You have to love your family. You don't have to like them all the time, but you have to love them and you have to pray for them.
Wait a minute, we're their wedding sponsors. If they don't like us, what does that mean?
That's fair.
We have to love them.
All right.
You have to love them. You don't have to like each other.
But
Like anybody
I love you and I like you. That's the best compliment I can get.
Everything here tends to be centered in, frankly, the liturgy, in the idea that God incarnate was here, is here, and continues to be here, temporally and physically.
I saw this posted on Facebook that, you can go blind by looking at the sun, which is 92 million miles away, but you feel like sometimes you can just walk into the presence of the Creator of all of that, and you just casually do that. It's not so casual here because you know that this is a place worthy of respect, worthy of awe.
Something that makes me light up so much about Orthodoxy in general, but also about St. Athanasius, is the beauty of Orthodoxy and the beautification surrounding it. The flowers, the icons, the music, the reverence surrounding all of these services that beautify our worship of God.
When you walk through that door, you can just leave all your cares behind. You walk through that door and you're in a completely different frame of mind, a different space. It's a refuge from all the things that may be bothering you in the outside world.
Our community has gotten a lot more diverse.
There are like cradle Orthodox, often of Eastern European background or Greek background.
The Romanians and Belarusians and other ethnicities that are able to come in.
They're fine with us wanting to come in, lighting candles, want to try out choir singing, altar serving.
And it's such a beautiful place to see everybody gathering together and offering their gifts back to God.
It's great having young adult groups and youth groups and women's groups and girls group and all these sub-communities that we have.
I've had so many people that have given of their talents and their time, people who can draw cartoons, people who can, make the Gospels come alive. This is a parish that it loves to worship together, and it loves to pray together, and it loves to play together.
We as Orthodox, we know when to fast and we know when to feast.
You see, grandparents hanging out with 3-year-olds and college students. My heart is really glad when I see people across the age spectrum together.
They're having bonfires. We're having dances together.
Church dances.
Church
dances. I mean, it's just great to see people from 6 years old to, I think we had 80-year-olds out one time on the dance floor who outdanced all of us, actually.
most important thing I would say is the love that I see amongst the people here.
That should extend outside of your family, outside of your God family, and outside of just the parish. It should extend infinitely.
A good priest is one who sees the world as his parish, and a bad priest sees his parish as his world.
I think there's a lot of people that are Orthodox and they don't know it yet.
All these places are crying out for an Orthodox Christian presence, for the fullness of the gospel. And I want to be there for that. I want to see that happen. I think we have a foundation here that we can use to do that work that God is calling us to do.